with some good news from Cash.
The cops searched Andrew's place.
Yeah.
It seems like there's been someone else living there with him, a man.
His father?
Maybe. Or a brother. A friend.
And where is he now?
No idea. They couldn't find anything to identify him or Andrew.
But no paperwork, nothing.
The 2 bedrooms had clothes in them. The rest of the house was pretty much empty. Get this. The water was turned off at the mains.
It's odd.
Right? No personal items, no photos, no books or music. There was a padlocked room as well.
What was inside?
Tin food, batteries, torches, plus a stockpile of water filters and purifying tablets.
In case of an emergency?
Cash reckons there was enough to live off the grid for months. Nothing about this feels right.
Well, the good thing is that he's staying with us, at least until we know he's safe.
Yeah. Thank you for being so important to us. Andrew, hey. You want to come and watch some telly?
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Your place or mine, Sophie?
Oh, hello. Am I getting propositioned?
What are the one-liners with it this week? It's been a week of one-liners. Your place or mine?
Yeah.
Any others you can think of? They've escaped me.
I can't remember.
They've escaped me.
Yeah, it's been some interesting scenes this week for sure.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Also,
thank you.
interesting scenes in your weight this week?
Oh, were there?
I don't know.
Oh, I was going to say I can't think of any. What have I told you? I was panicking. Then. Oh no, what have I texted you? Like,
This is a great start.
Have I sent you a text one night? I've forgotten all about it.
We're talking
Right,
different
right.
languages. Yeah. No, I've not spoke to you much this week. It's been life. It's been a life week. What's happening? Missed you.
Just work for me. Nothing exciting. What about you?
Same.
Yeah, it's just really busy at the moment, and I had to do a trip up north, so I was away for a couple of nights. So I ended up, you ended up picking the baton up on Twitter because I was like, I can't tweet. I'm in the car. Oh, bless you. Thank you for that. Thank you for stepping in.
And then I was like, I can't tweet. I forgot how. Yeah.
You did good. You did good.
Blimey. I try. I'm not you, though. Well, let's unwind. Let's crack open the bottle and let's chat Summer Bay, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your headlines?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's get to it.
No, I do. I told you I'd do it one day.
You're absolutely fucking having him because I've just spent 30 seconds writing them.
I told you to do it to you one day.
You did, and I told you I wouldn't want to. Right, Marilyn's beauty cover-up worsens.
Uh-oh.
Andrew comes home to stay, but something sounds a little off. JP's juice bar is revealed. Kahu makes a move on Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And Remy changes lyrics plan again.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
So, Marilyn, we kick off the week. She wants to try and help John pay towards the wedding anyway, despite it's, we thought this was put to bed. John had agreed, hadn't he, that he was going to pay for it and just say it was from the both of them, from the goodness of his little JP heart. And that was that. And and Marilyn was then supposed to be solely focused on trying to get out of whatever this blooming contract is with Stunning Organics. However, we see her this week sort of trying and asking to pick up shifts, because Irene's away and she's wants to pick up extra shifts, earn some extra money, so she says she can help John anyway. However, I suspect it's probably because she's got to buy all these boxes of gear that she's stashing at the beach house, at Irene's beach house. So she's short on cash from all angles right now, is poor Maz. And Leah's confided in her like a work colleague, like you do at work and whatnot. And she even offers to sort of help go and water the plants at Irene's house. And she goes, no, don't go over there.
Don't worry about it, doll.
But we do get our very first glimpse of the Amazon warehouse that is Irene's sitting room right now. Packed to the rafters with deliveries from Stunning Organics. Marilyn's got her head in the sand, as you put it last week. She's ignoring the problem rather than facing it. And it seems to have mumbled on this week. Rue and Alf are asking her if she's heard from them. She's denying it. She's saying, I've not heard a thing, because there's all this issue with her covering this up, but also that she's even lying to their face now. She's saying that, here's a phone call from a solicitor from Stunning Organics, and I've arranged to meet them. I think she thinks that by giving them more information, they'll get off her back at this stage. But actually, it just sort of makes them want to get involved more. And Rue puts it, fire in her belly, because she was the victim of said rash. Drama queen. They want to help her out, don't they? But Marilyn's sort of web of lies is just growing and growing, and she's sort of spiraling with it at this point. How are you feeling up to this? She's lying about meeting their solicitor, Mr. Planter.
Kevin Planter.
How on earth Rue did not see through that?
How did she not get? She was stroking the bloody leaf of the planter. She said planter.
I know. Looks down. Wow, oh my God. It's an insane name. I actually thought she did clock it and was testing her. It took me a good it took me a good episode to go, oh no, she actually bought it. I thought, is she testing her? And see if she's lying. What are your thoughts, Sophie? So
oh dear, Marilyn. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? We're all rolling our eyes at this point. I think I'm talking on behalf of everybody here, but from what I've read online as well, people are just rolling their eyes at this. I don't know what she thinks she's doing. She's going to get found out. It's not going to be long till she's found out. And then what's she going to say? Because, last year when Marilyn was supposedly going off the rails, but she wasn't. She was just covering up for Heather. And everyone was turning against her because they thought she was lying to them about the tyre slashing and all the other things that Heather was doing. And they were accusing Marilyn of it. She was saying it absolutely isn't me. And they were saying, you liar, pants on fire. Now she actually is lying about things. So I just think this is going to make everything worse. I get why she's doing it, because she doesn't want judgy Ruru to sort of be like, oh, Marilyn, I told you so, and oh, Marilyn, you can't cope, and oh, Marilyn, you got, you're in over your head, and all that stuff that she's worried that Rue's going to say to her. But she's actually she's just delaying all of that and making it worse by lying on top of it. So I don't know. I'm getting a bit, what's going to happen? Because this is obviously going to get found out the minute that Irene's back home, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I can't wait for that scene, especially if all that gear's still in her house.
It will be, yeah.
Well, where's it going to go?
Yeah, she's not going to flog it, is she? So it's going to have to either go to the caravan park. Maybe she's going to have to rent a caravan to stick it in there. But someone's going to see it, even if she does that.
Well, I'm surprised she's not started putting it down the sink or something.
Oh, God. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what? Of all the people, I know she doesn't want to run after him and ask for his help, but of all the people, I think I would have asked John for help, because I think he's actually the least judgmental of all of her friends. He's the one that's the most supportive. And for your ex-husband to be more supportive than your supposed best friend, it kind of tells you all you need to know about Rue and Marilyn's relationship, doesn't it, really? But I think if I was her, I think I would have gone to John. I tried to do this stunning organic thing. I did it, best intentions for Jet's wedding, money, as you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm in over my head. I can't tell Mr. Stewart and Rue because they just treat me like an idiot. Help. And I think John would have helped her with no judgment because I think he still cares about her.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think John would do anything for her.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Of all of them, he's always fought her corner. He's always been on her team, regardless. All the Heather debacle. He was there. He was always there for her. So I completely concur. I think she would be better confiding in him. She actually finds herself sort of confiding in Kirby, doesn't she, when Kirby returns from tour, because Kirby was helping her, if you remember, with the whole promo and everything. But actually, I think Kirby's youth and naivety and online social and sort of lack of life experience makes the whole thing even worse. Rue sort of agreed to go to this meeting with the lawyers, and she manages, I thought, how's she going to get out of this? And she manages to get out of it, meeting cancelled or what have you. And because Rue actually calls up Stunning Organics and finds out that Mr. Kevin Planter doesn't exist. And honestly, Marilyn's face tells it all. I mean, you just think, I'm really frustrated with her because she's old enough. When I've said to you before, Marilyn isn't stupid.
No.
And it frustrates me when it sort of comes across like I'm supposed to be, thinking of her like she's stupid, like she doesn't know that she can't keep this up. Of course she knows. She's a grown-ass woman. She knows that this is like she's just sort of flapping and needs, like you say, needs someone to guide her into making better decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little frustrated with it because she's not turning to the right people for that guidance, And Kirby and her have made this video because Kirby's all about the video, and it's just like, don't buy the product. It made my friend have a rash and it's awful and blah, 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 blah. And of course, Stunning Organics with their big lawyer machine, as Marilyn puts it, have threatened a defamation lawsuit. And like, obviously that was coming. Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah,
what are they thinking?
Obvious. Even Theo said, do you think this is a good idea before you post it? He was trying to be like the voice of reason between the two, hysterical, put it out there, get it on the internet. How can this possibly make it worse? And Theo was just saying, think about this for a minute. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad somebody said it. But the fact that they just ignored him and went with it anyway, I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, you're right. And Marilyn's, I'm annoyed because Marilyn's letting Kirby run the narrative with it. She's letting her run with it, and she's sort of begging it. Oh, we need to take it down. We need to take the video down. And she's like, no, it's not. We've not said anything that's not true. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think is true or not.
No.
The woman's already, like she says, in enough trouble as it is.
Yeah.
The last thing she needs is this.
Absolutely, yeah. And it doesn't matter if it, like you say, it doesn't matter if it's true. It's true for Rue, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the product's bad anyway. I mean, all the stuff they said about how they make, she's been forced to sell the boxes and all that sort of stuff. Yes, that's true. But the stuff about Rue, it's subjective, isn't it? Because it's one person at this stage. We don't know if anybody else has been affected by the products. So they can't go around saying they're crap products online with one person as the evidence.
Exactly. And strip all that crap away. If somebody says, I'm in a video that you've posted that I don't want to be online, please take it down, I think you've got a bit of a duty to remove it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Regardless, if I'd done, and I asked you to remove it, I think Kirby should have removed it, not insisting it remains on, because then obviously they get the whole Kirby, you've been served.
Oh, yeah.
So now they're facing legal issues. And I think tonight's episode, I'm starting to smell a bit of a Stunning Organic rat here. He's catching a few conversations, isn't it? He's asking a lot of questions. Yeah. I think the penny might finally be dropping. That Marilyn's not her usual self. Because I mean, is it because I know, but I'm feeling like Marilyn's making it really obvious she's hiding something. But is it because I know? You know what I mean? You don't know, do you?
No, I think he did. I think he literally raised an eyebrow, didn't he, Mr. Stewart, tonight? Yeah,
close
I think
up.
he did. Yeah. It's like, hang on a minute. Because he wasn't questioning why the social's still up? Why have you still got your social media accounts open if if this is all over? And then he saw little whispery conversations between Marilyn and Kirby, didn't he? And I think he just knows that something's
quite
not
a
right.
heated, whispery conversation.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think we're reaching the moment where I think the Stewarts are going to be. It's going to be revealed, but how much are they going to learn? It's going to be interesting. Do they know about Irene's house there? Which I think's hilarious when she took Kirby back. I just laugh every time I see it.
No, it's like, she's not even trying to stack them up nicely in the corner. She just literally put them everywhere. It's hilarious. Oh dear.
I tell you, I'd start flushing it, me. Can't go back, can it?
No, just start giving it out. Just start giving it away. If it's free, they can't come at you, can they? I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I think if it was me, if I was getting nowhere with the company, I think I'd just go to John and just be like, help, because
John,
he's got a big house that only he lives in, so he can stash it all at his house, and he might help me get out of my mess because he's quite good at that.
Yeah.
He's quite good at helping people. And also, I know we say John's a gossip, and he absolutely is a gossip, but when it needs to stay quiet, he's actually very good at keeping things on the lowdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So,
a bit like myself.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. And also, if only, Mr. Stewart had a lawyer sister that could just, resolve it all with the click of a finger.
You will break my heart every time you mention her.
Knowing it, but it's storylines like this where you can't help but think of her. Do you know what I mean? Because 10 years ago, what have you, even longer, this would have been Morag back from the city, sorting out a mess, catching up with her brother, arguing with her, Alfred. Yeah. So, can't help but think of Morag at these times. And in the storyline, she's alive and well. Why, can we get a phone call to her? It's the 35th anniversary.
Yeah, phone call I'd be up with. I'm worried that if they keep her in the show, they're gonna have to recast her. And I think the thing that I liked about Morag was Cornelia.
Yeah, it's not going to work that. So
no.
But a nice little nod would be nice in the 35th year.
Yeah.
Right. Andrew's eager to get home.
Mm.
He's been brought back to the Morgan house, hasn't he? In quite dubious circumstances, if you ask me. But I'm just going to Jenny Aniston it because, I'm a bit like, he's been assessed by social services at the hospital. He's got the literacy of a 9-year-old. There's things aren't quite adding up. There's basically looking like abuse situation going on here. Right? Or neglect, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And social services have let him go home with the stranger that found him.
It's really weird.
Right? Yeah.
It's really weird. I mean, it's super nice. It's a really nice thing for Justin to do. And I like seeing this side of Justin because after the whole Mr. Angry storyline that we've had recently with the whole Ava Stalker storyline, it's nice to see Justin doing something for someone else and being nice and all that sort of stuff. But it's so ridiculous. I mean, this guy says he's 17, so he's still a minor, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in our law, but I think in Australia, still a minor if you're under 18, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it's just completely unrealistic that they would just let this kid go home with someone that's just met him. And we wouldn't go into social services, or the police wouldn't be going around there knocking on the door, finding out. The fact that Cash just, wasn't bothered about going around to the house and finding out where this kid had come from and who his family are. And I'm finding this really I'm trying to Jenny it, as you say, just go with it.
Yeah.
But I'm finding it difficult.
Some of the finer details aren't right, are they?
No.
But the storyline as a whole is bloody glorious, I think.
Yeah, storyline I'm loving. Absolutely. I think this is what the hashtag have been asking for. So for like the last year on Twitter and on Facebook as well, people have been saying, bring back fostering, bring back young people, bring back the school.
Yeah.
I think this is a compromise on all of those things, to bring back a young person's storyline, a troubled person, you know, away from stray, come to the Bay with a past that we don't know about yet. This is home as of old. I think this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go with it, but home as of old knew that social services, docs, whatever, needed to be involved in these kind of cases, and it feels like we've lost that bit right now.
Yeah,
like
the finer
forgotten.
details aren't right. We're rushing over some of these things that we probably need because it's a bit daft that he'd be allowed just to go to Justin's house, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes when something as big as that happens, a bit as daft as that, you're thinking, oh, I'm off this, you know, whatever.
Especially because Justin's just got a criminal record like a week ago.
Oh, yeah, of course he's doing. How did I not even put them dots together?
He's an actual crim, you know. I don't think.
Yeah, it's beyond ridiculous. But it does feel very, like you say, classic Homers. Love it. Like, very nostalgic. Like you say, a young, troubled youth has come to the sandy shores, and the residents and the community are going to take care of him. It's that sort of premise of the show that's, like you say, people have been asking for. And it does feel, maybe it's a nostalgia thing, but it does feel like a really good home and away story. And I think if anyone's listening to this podcast now who have perhaps, I mean, I don't think you would, because, you know, it's a home and away podcast, but if you've been, you know, if you've not been watching it lately, this is probably the story to get you back, you know, and sort of get invested again, because this is it's gonna grow legs, I think. I've just got a feeling.
Yeah.
Now, he's gone back to, like we say, back to Justin and Leah's house, and he's not saying much, is he? Justin was trying to ask him, and Bree was back at the hospital, you know, what's your parents' name? I'm not, you know, what's your home life like? Who do you live with? And he's sort of, shush, no, I'm not allowed to talk about him. So we're getting drip fed little bits, you know. And they ask him to write down his full name, for example. He just writes Andrew. So he's not giving things up. He's got some sort of, even though we know there's some sort of neglect going on, at least there's, you know, neglect or some sort of domestic abuse type situation. He's very loyal to whoever it is that he's petrified of, because he's constantly saying, I need to get home. He's trying to leave the house, you know. I've got to get back. They're going to notice I've gone. If I'm gone, I'm going to be in trouble. And honestly, I was gripped at these scenes, because I'm thinking, this is a young boy in deep trouble here, you know. And I thought I'm going to have to get the actor's name. Only a very young actor. Thought he was doing a phenomenal job at this.
Absolutely.
I thought, anyway.
Yeah, he's really pulled you into the story of it, hasn't he? I mean, he's not really been in that many episodes, not seen that much of him. He hasn't even said very much, but he's captivating, isn't he, to watch? And you just wish that something else would happen. And it, you know, when it darts off to another scene and it's just some filler diner scene of them talking about menus or whatever, and you're like, go back. I was watching that. You're gripped, aren't you, by the story?
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you make of this? I was a bit worried, there's not going to be another psycho. He's like Ava, you know, this whole midnight staring. Leah's clocked out. He's got some sort of uncomfortable staring at Leah going on. What do you make of that?
He said that she smelled nice, didn't he? He was like,
you smell nice.
Bless him. But I suppose it's only creepy if you think of it. If he is, you know, if he has got the mental capabilities of a 9-year-old in terms of educational, social skills, literacy skills, etc., he's obviously not been socialized with other children, or maybe not even with other adults. Maybe he's just been at home with this one person, mystery person,
or females,
or anybody. And it doesn't look like he's watched the TV ever, because she tries to put the television on for him, and he's like, oh, I'm going to bed. You know, he's like, oh, I don't know what my favorite show is. Like, he's never watched TV before. So I think because he's a 17-year-old almost adult, him standing there in the dark watching you sleeping is really creepy. But actually, if it was a 9-year-old little boy, he'd just look really lost, and you'd just feel really sorry for him, wouldn't you, if he was doing that? It's only because he's in the body of a 17-year-old doing a 9-year-old's.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you've got to remember that, haven't you?
Yeah. So I don't think he's creepy. I think I think he's very lost and very broken. And when you think of him as a 9-year-old standing there in the dark watching them sleeping, that's actually really sad. Because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't understand anything. He doesn't know what, and that's what kids are like that, aren't they? I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah, I've not actually thought about it to that level. You're right. It is quite a sad scene when you've mentioned it, because if you've explained it the way you have, I'm thinking, yeah. I wonder now whether perhaps he's not allowed to sleep.
Maybe, or maybe he's not normally allowed to wander around out of his room at night. So he's, like little kids, they push boundaries, don't they? So if you say go to bed, stay in bed, they always come creeping down the stairs, or like they try and watch the TV through the crack of the door, or they try and push the boundaries to see what they can get away with. And I think maybe he's doing that because maybe whether he's been locked in his room at 8 o'clock. You don't come out to the morning, that's you gone. And maybe he's gone, this door's open. Oh, I can go outside. Oh, they're all asleep.
This is crazy. Because we do learn that Cash or the police at some point have gone to the house eventually, don't we? And we learn that there is a padlock on the door, that there's no running water. The water's been shut off. And we learn this through a scene where Justin's telling Leah, look, something's not right here. I'm really concerned about this kid. So you're right. I think he's in an environment that's very normal. In this house, you can eat what you want. You can even when Leah offers him to, just help yourself to the fridge, he's like, oh no, I can't go in the fridge. You're right. He's all these sort of customs and sort of things we take for granted in everyday sort of modern life. He doesn't seem to be acquainted with, does he, at all?
No.
So it's going to be very interesting to find out. We're going to obviously find out at some point what his upbringing is. I'm assuming it's going to be quite explosive, because whoever it is, he's absolutely scared stiff of, is going to return home and find him gone.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. And I do wonder whether the police have got somebody, because there's absolutely no record of him even existing, is there? There's no paperwork.
No.
They've turned the house upside down. There's no birth certificate for him or this other person. So I do wonder whether the police are maybe at the house waiting. What's the investigation looking like? I'd like to revisit that in the coming episodes and be like, where are we up to with finding out what's going on here?
Yeah. I don't know how much of a priority that would be, to sort of stake out an empty house because some kids turned up hungry.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to run his DNA or.
Yeah, they could do. Yeah.
Where do we go from here? You can't just sort of sit at Justin's house forever and nothing happen.
You'd think they'd be doing some kind of social media sort of thing, but then again, what if that risks his safety? If they put his picture up and say, this is Andrews and have you got information about him, please come forward, is that actually going to harm him rather than help him? I don't know. If he doesn't talk, it's hard to judge what to do, isn't it, really?
Yeah, this is it. I suspect he's probably going to succumb more, he's going to give up more information when as he sort of gets more comfortable with Justin and Leah. So let's see. But honestly, I'm here for this. I'm like, this is juicy good stuff. Speaking of juicy, so the Serve Club's had a refit.
Oh yeah,
well underway. What do you think of JP's juice bar?
I love the fact that he's so giddily happy with the refurb. I can't believe how quick it happened, because 1 minute I was sort of blinking and the next minute it was all done. So I was like,
he's even had a new dishwasher.
Is that everything? New sign. It's been painted. He's got a new sofa, chill out area. Bless him. I wasn't that fussed about the makeover, but seeing his happy little face, that made my day, I'll be honest. So
Yeah, I'm just loving John these days. He
yeah.
can't do wrong for us, can he?
No.
And the refit does mean we have a sort of update to the set, don't we, of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Surf Club, which is one of the central community sets on Home and Away. Don't see enough of it these days, in my opinion. But I was pleased to see this afternoon the pool table was still in situ. Because
Yes.
remember a few weeks back we were looking at pictures online, weren't we, of thing when it leaked, and we were like, "Where's the pool table? You can't have the Surf Club without youths and miscreants playing pool." It was there, wasn't it, in the background?
Yeah. Yep.
And there's been way more seating added, so that gives extras things to do other than walk from one door to another. I think it gives
it was more
the
like a
set.
corridor, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a through place,
Yeah.
wasn't it, to other
Yeah.
sets?
Yeah.
It's
With a
now a
pool
bit
table.
more. Yeah, it's a bit more of a destination now.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll see extras in the background, sort of sitting, chatting, having a juice a bit more, and even the characters might come and meet and sit down at a table, or and things like that. We might not always have to be at Salt getting a coffee, or something. We might be able to do it in the Surf Bar a bit, at Surf Club a bit more. So I really like the new set, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it gets utilised.
Yeah, definitely. It's been needed for a while. I think I was saying to you recently, like I just needed something new to look at, because we've not got a huge amount of sets on the show, and then like you said, the ones that we do have, we live in the diner, we live in Salt. Those are the ones that we see all the time. So if we do get some more scenes in the Surf Club in that new chill out area, it's just nice for your eyeballs to see something different, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, and it'd be good for plot and storyline because characters can meet there.
Yes.
And we can, and then you can. What's great about sets like that is that then, as a scene is happening or one storyline is there, other characters can then cross paths.
Yes.
And it just helps things flow a bit. So I'm glad it's been done the way it has, and I love the chill out area as well. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully it gets used in that way, and it's not just fancy decor in the background. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about Kahu.
Okay.
Deep breath.
Deep breath.
He's convinced Tane that not to pay the TAFE fees himself. If you remember, Kahu wants to. He's telling Tane that he wants to be a trainer. He wants to qualify. He doesn't want to just fold towels and take bookings. He wants to, run classes and get really involved in the gym and be a proper qualified trainer. He's got to do the TAFE course. Cost $1,500. Went through that last week, and he's quite sillily, Tane agreed to transfer the $1,500 to Kahu, who's going to take care of it. He's going to pay it and all the rest of it. Major red flag, of course. Considering Kahu's already been a bit, well, he's already freeloading. He's already not pulling his weight. He's been a bit cheeky. He's got himself, but there's been some tension and issues between his wife and Kahu. For me, I feel like he was a bit silly and a bit naive to do it. Just say that's not how we do it. It's not my decision. It's got to all be done by the book. I can't be seen to be transferring my family money out of the business account. Just something like that would have just sufficed. But no, he does it. And of course, Kahu doesn't spend the money on enrolling on TAFE. In fact, he calls his mum, doesn't he, straight away?
Yeah.
Another call to the mum, saying how great he's doing on this weird fishing thing that we were discussing last week. Have you managed to piece any more of that lie together? I haven't.
Really? I mean, I've got some thoughts, but I don't know whether any of it is rubbish. So, we've heard these conversations with his mum, and I think he said something like, "Oh, your investment's going to pay off. We've had a really good day today." So I was like, "Oh, investment." So what I'm thinking is his mum has given him some money. God knows where that is. Maybe he used that to get to Australia because he's got an airfare out of nowhere. So I think his mum's given him some money and he's told her a big fat lie about what he's doing with that money. Maybe he's told her the same thing he's told Tane. Oh, invest in me. I'm going to get a boat. I'm going to start a business. You know, if you invest in me, I'll share the profits with you. All the stuff he was saying to Tane this week to try and get him interested. I think he said all that to his mum. His mum's stupidly giving him the money. And now he's gone, oh crap, that was all lies. And I don't have any money to give her back. So I'm going to have to get some money from somewhere. And then he's got it from Tane. And then he's telling him the same pack of lies and saying, oh, you know, I took it because I want a business and I want a boat and I want to invest and I want to I'm going to make loads of money off this. I've got a really good plan. So I think all of it is crap. I think all of it is total BS. And he's just saying the same story to both of them just to get money out of them. I don't really know why, because where is this going? How long is he going to keep lying to his mum, and how long is he going to keep robbing money to pay her? I don't know. And where's the money gone that if he has had money from his mum, where is it?
What's he doing with it?
Yeah,
he's a right smooth operator, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He has
Snake.
he's a snake, absolutely. He has got the gift of the gab, hasn't he? You know, this is somebody I'm starting to think now, sort of piecing my opinion of him together a couple of weeks after his arrival now. I'm thinking this is somebody who has never been told no in their life, who has never worked for anything they've ever achieved.
Yep.
Everything's been either handed to them on a plate or has been luck or scam or something. I think this bloke is an absolute serial scammer, right? And I think he might be family, but he's absolute deadwood.
Yeah.
I think Felicity's seen through it, but she's got to support her husband, and I think she's in an impossible situation. I think she's handling it quite well, to be fair. I think she's expressing that she's not happy. You know, she learns quite quickly. Basically, she learns quite quickly that this money's been handed to him. He's not paid it on TAFE. Instead, he comes out with some cock and bull about his own ambitions of starting his own business. Well, 1,500 is not going to start a fishing business.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm a bit worried that he might start going to Mr. Stewart at some point for the Blacksland at this rate.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? He needs a boat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So my mind's running wild with it. So then, but to be fair to Flick, so she makes it quite well known, I'm not happy about this, but she does agree to go along for the sake of Tane, and that's someone who really that's being supportive. You know, that scene just after all this money stitch, and you know, and Tane's agreed, so well, keep the money then. You know, you lied to me, and I'm not happy, but keep the money, invest it in your business, and I hope you do well. I thought you didn't have to do that. You know, he's just caught you out red-handed. Felicity goes to the gym to apologize and say, look, let's get on. You know. And she catches him looking at buying expensive smartwatches. And she says, is that what you're going to spend the money on? So he's not putting it into the business at all, right?
No.
This is somebody who wants nice things in life, but he's not willing to put the work in to get them.
Yeah.
And I think that even comes down to this whole Mac situation. You know, when he's seduced Mac in the cupboard. Said if that cupboard could talk. He's got her back to her house. I think if you notice, that wasn't long after he found out that Mac was business partners with Felicity.
Yeah.
So he's a business owner, nice swanky restaurant on the beachfront, got a bit of money. They got obviously the whole your place or mine that we were talking about earlier. He goes back to her house. He's then talking about the country house that she lives in. He has seen dollar signs when he's looked at Mac.
He called it a mansion, didn't he? He's like, you've got a mansion in the country, you've got a nice car, you own a business. And she just laughed in his face and she's like, oh, you think I'm rich? No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a
Far
story.
from it.
I thought that was really good that she set him straight, but his face dropped, didn't it?
I was going to say, did you notice his response? He's thought, now wasting my time here, you know?
Yeah.
I think He's met Felicity on the honeymoon in New Zealand, found out she's a business owner, found out that Tane's also a business owner and successful now. They've got a bit of cash behind him. They've been able to travel overseas. And I think he's followed the cash. I think he's here for one thing and one thing only. And I think the story's the same. You know how he said to Tane, "Oh, I'm going to set up a business. I just need one boat."
Yeah.
I think that's the same spiel he's told his mother.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same spiel he'll tell the next person.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he'll tell everybody and just rob them blind, like you say. He just wants. I don't think he does want to work. He doesn't come across as somebody that's hardworking, that puts in the yakka and wants to go somewhere. He wants to do things quickly and not have to do very much for it. So I think you're right. I think he wants a nice life. He wants to be able to support his lifestyle without actually doing anything, and it's rubbing me up the wrong way, and I'm really disappointed because when he first arrived I was like, oh, this is really nice to have another pirata. We've lost a load of piratas lately. It's nice to have one back in the bay, but this one's a bad egg, isn't he?
He is, but it makes for a good soap character.
It does.
Not everyone can be the same. I tell you what though, I'm really cross with Mac here. I'm really, really cross with her. I can't even, and she's one of my favourites, you know this, but I can't even go there at the minute to even think and talk much about this, because this whole Gabe thing was as if it wasn't annoying enough. She's now jumped, as we keep saying, to the next bit of sort that's come along. And did you notice we know he's a wrong un already? Okay, she's not really
aware.
Seeing it. But she's
aware.
not.
Flick's told her, and she said, everyone makes mistakes. I thought she's already defending him.
Yeah, and she might be using him, but again, I'm a bit worried that we're sort of straddling Mac's self-destruction mode again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a bit, what you doing, girl? But then tonight, she was the first one, because she said, "Look, one-time thing, I got it out of my system. I'm having a bad time." And obviously they've been in his ear about Flick and Tana, just leave her alone. She's going through a tough time. Don't, she's practically family. Don't go there, So he went the next morning, she's the one that asks him, oh, let's do it again. And I'm thinking, no, you were the one that said one-time thing. And if that's what you need to get through the day, that's your business. But I'm thinking, you're clamoring to a bloke again. And I'm like, if she's the one who starts developing anything more than just a one-time thing and feelings and all that stuff, she's heading for it yet again. The same old merry-go-round of heartbreak. And I want off now. I'm done with it.
Yeah, it does feel destructive. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how much more of it I can watch. I really don't. Oh, God, I'm on one.
Oh, no, I love it. I was in two minds about this. You probably saw my tweet. I think I put something like, part of me is going, yes, Mac, have your leg over, have a bit of fun, have some distraction. You've had a really crappy year. Use this guy and just bin him off, basically, and just have a night, where you just get out your mind and do something fun for you and forget all the Gabe stuff and everything else that's happened this year. So part of me was thinking that, like, you're in control, you go, whatever, you set the boundaries. But then the other part of me was like, but she's too good for this guy. She's too good to give herself away to this guy. She doesn't, she, even as a one night stand, she could do better than this guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between the two. And like you say, he's now found out that she's not as, lucrative a prospect as he thought she was. And then because Tane and Flick have gone, her boyfriend's just died, she's grieving, stay away from her. He's now got a legitimate excuse to say to her, no, we can't do it anymore because Tane and Flick have warned me off and I don't want to upset anybody and let's just keep it as a one-time thing, keep it between us, etc. He's got a real reason to bin her off that isn't, I was only going to scam you, mate, and now I found out you've got no money, I'm not interested. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, same. Oh. What we're going to do,
Yeah.
though? What we're going to do about it? Oh, my God.
I don't know. I think she just needs to be on. I was all for it if she was going to be in control of this. You know, she would just call him up. They would, you know, spend half an hour together in her bedroom, and then she'd kick him out. You know, she was in control. It wasn't him calling the shots. It was her using him. I could have lived with that. But now it feels like, you know, oh, I can take the morning off work if you want to hang out with me. No, Mac, that's not what I was expecting
No,
from this.
same. I think she's letting herself down big
Yeah.
time. And same as you sort of can't blame her.
Yeah.
You know, she's not thinking right. She's going through a bit of stuff, but I think I'm done with it now. You know, I think I just want to shake her. You know, and like slap her and be like, listen, see,
Yeah.
I'll tie her down and you can't go anywhere with no bloke.
Dear. What did you think of Marley's? You know, when they were after they'd been to the farmhouse, they came back to the surf club to Salt because she said, "I've got to go back to work." He said, "Yeah, my cousin's looking for me. I've got to go and find him. He's trying to find out where I am."
Yeah.
And as they're walking along, you know, because they're saying, "Keep it quiet. We're not going to tell anybody our business. It's our business only, etc." But Marley spots him sort of grab her and like kiss her on the cheek or whatever it is. You know, something more than a mate would do. Let's put it that way. And Marley sees that and he's pretending to hose down his board and pretending he hasn't seen it, hasn't he? But what did you think of his actual reaction to
interrogation? Yeah. So obviously he's sort of installed himself as her keeper, hasn't he? You know, like he promised to look after her. He's been really great with her. We were just saying that. Was it last week before? We were like, Marley's fantastic. Like he's there for her. He's great. You know, he's moved in. He's flatmate, remember? So there's a potential if this becomes a thing. You know, he's gonna see and be privy to more than most in the Bay.
Yeah.
But I do think at this stage he was a little bit judgmental, and I found him to be a bit sort of preachy and like it's none of his business really if she's gone for a bit of afternoon delight.
Yeah.
You know, with the nearest Kiwi. Do you know what I mean? Like it's none of, and because his question was, what's going on here? And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, not like, hi, you okay? Or, you know, you all right? Is he okay? Like, where have you been? You know, it was quite a direct question, like, what's going on? Like, it's actually, even if none of this was happening, it's actually none of his business who she's dating. She's just his flatmate. So, and I sort of feel the same about Tani and Flick as well. I know they're friends, and she even says, you know, I'm your friend. That's why I'm constantly asking you, where were you this afternoon? And I'm thinking it's not illegal to not be at work in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? Like she's told you to back off. Just know when to do it.
Yeah.
I support their support, but I think they've overstepped the mark. What about you?
Yeah. Marley's was more interesting reaction to me than I think Tani and Flick's because you're right. Yeah, because you know that scene that we just talked about where he sort of said to her, you know, what's going on with you two? And she's like, nothing. And she just kind of walks off, doesn't she? Then that afternoon, Marley's at work in the surf club, you know, at the board shop. And John's like buzzing around. He's so happy about his sign. And he's like, oh, can you put this on social media? And can you help me? Because I haven't got any customers. They don't know that we've relaunched, etc. And Marley's like, yeah, I've been busy. Yeah. Like he's really flat. And like his mood is really down. And like when he's behind the board shop, he's like really flat. And John's trying to like have a chat to him. And he's like, oh, yeah, whatever, John. Like just, you know, blanking him or just sort of not really engaging with the conversation. And I thought, has he got a bit of a cob on? Is he a bit, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing too much, but is he a bit miffed that Mac's with Kahu and not with him?
Oh, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I can't quite put
bit of green eye monster.
I don't know, because I was thinking, is it because he's got, we keep being told he's got this big family, he's got loads of sisters, so he could be being the protective older brother, but I don't think he's being an older brother in this scenario. It feels more like a jealous.
Oh,
I don't know.
Do you know, it wasn't even on my radar, but perhaps I'll look for that now.
I could be reading far too much into it, but it just felt a bit like he was a bit miffed to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope not.
Bit weird. It was a bit odd.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that reaction. He just went really like into himself. He didn't
Yeah.
look like he was like really worried about her and like, oh God, I hope she's okay. It was more like, oh right, I see.
Right, okay. Oh, blimey. Right, okay. I'd not noticed that myself, but I'll look for it. And you know, I'm quite loving this relation, you know, this friendship renaissance we've got. I hope so. I hope it's not that. Because I think we've got some great friendships on the show right now.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I was thinking, oh, he's been friend zoned and maybe he doesn't like that. I don't know.
Like it. Could be.
I don't know.
You could be on something. Well, we'll know, won't we? And then we'll know who's right.
It won't be me.
You never know. This is Home and Away, bed hopping, a galore.
Oh, I've got some stuff to say about that in your say. So remember bed hopping.
Oh dear. Right, Lyric, the back from the tour, you know, that was just like to Yabby Creek and back for a few days. And Remy's rush to find Brie, finds her. And if you remember, she was not liking this whole him going away. She explained to Cash, or confided in Cash, that he you know, like this reminding her that, you know, when she was with Jacob and they did long distance, that, you know, he'd come back and it'd be a beating and all the rest of it. And she's been really unfair, actually, I thought, because she wasn't transparent about it from the off. Tell me your thoughts in a mo. But she was being really awkward and standoffish with him. He's a bit like, I've missed my girlfriend, you know, I'm really, you know, well, they just L-bombed each other before he left. Like everything was really good. He felt they were in a good place. They've got really strong, passionate feelings for each other. He's missed a no end while he's been away working. He's come back and she's all cold and giving him the shoulder. And I'm thinking, that's really, really unfair, girl. They do eventually sit down and talk it out, because he's like, full disclosure, I asked Cash to keep an eye on him. And she's a bit like, look, I find this triggering, does tell him, but then it sends Remy sort of, these two are 2 steps forward, 5 back, aren't they? This sort of sends Remy back into his sort of depressed guitar playing again. Thoughts on Eden's reaction to Remy coming home? So
yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Like you say, it's like we don't know which Brie we're gonna get day to day. So one day she's all happy and all over him, and she just wants to spend time with him, and she doesn't want anyone else there, just them two. And the next day, it's like she can't wait to get away from him. And I get it in the sense that she's been through so much with Jacob, but again, I think she has to take responsibility at some point for this. You know, if this is still affecting her and now it's affecting their relationship, she needs to do something about this. She can't just keep sort of treating him poorly, essentially, for stuff that she's gone through in her past. She needs to confront that and she needs to deal with it head on. You know, whether that's counselling or what, I don't know. But it's not fair to keep projecting her previous bad relationship on Remy, is it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I don't know if you saw my tweet. This was the night that I was doing the tweet along, and I put, I something along the lines of, I don't actually know anymore what Remy has to do in order to prove to her that he isn't Jacob. Like, what more does this bloke have to do? And I feel like she's losing a lot of the audience as well. I saw some comments that evening. I'm sure it's on your say, I can imagine.
Yes, it is.
So I won't go too much into it, won't steal that thunder. But, you know, a lot of people have done a complete 180 with her. A lot of people really like the character, but can't get on board with this. Now, look, we keep sort of explaining her behavior away by what awful things she's gone through, and there is no taking that away from it. It has been blooming awful, to put it into 2 words, if you absolutely can. But there comes a point where this Remy, man, he's taken a beating from this, and it wasn't his doing anyway. No. And she was losing me a couple of months back. And I think this does her no favours.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying before they got back together again, I was saying I don't care either way if they get back together, they don't
You
get back together,
were,
because
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
getting on my nerves so much with the will they, won't they stuff and her being hot and cold then, that I was like, oh, I don't care. Then for about a week, I was like, okay, I'm invested again. And now I've gone cold. I'm like, I can't keep going on this merry-go-round. And I can empathize with her or sympathize with her, but she's not helping herself, and that's when your empathy starts to go, because it's like, if somebody keeps saying I've got a problem, I've got a problem, I've got a problem, you feel sorry for them when they start talking about it, but eventually you're like, yeah, but what are you doing about it? And your
Yeah.
empathy starts to wane when you think, you know what, you're just wallowing in this, you're not actually doing anything, all I'm doing is counseling you through this, but it's not getting you anywhere. And that's what I feel that Remy's doing, that he's helping her, and every time she takes 2 steps forward with him, he goes away to do a gig, which is his job, comes back and she's gone back to where she was, and he's got to coax her out again, and it's like, this is exhausting.
You're right. Exhausting is the right word. And you know what's worse is Remy can't see it, because
No,
he's even now
he's
changing
so in love with her.
plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's even now changing the lyric plans. They got their
Mm,
plans for all this touring. He's now wanting to stay
mm,
put and rent $12,000 studio time. Blooming
mm,
hell! I mean, they ain't got 2p to rub together, this band,
mm.
apparently. Um, so although they could maybe get Kahu to get him some investors. uh,
They could sell
um,
some stunning organics for Marilyn, I'm sure.
well, yeah, there's at
Yeah.
least 12k sat in Irene's kitchen. Um, the you know, I'm so he now wants them to stay put and record an album, and it'll take months, and
Mm-mm.
also he's not going to go away. And I'm thinking,
No.
mate, you can't put your life on hold,
Mm-mm.
And Eden even says to him, well, what do you think you do when you've made an album? You have to go out and tour it,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
is Remy going to leave the band? Is
And
he
would
gonna?
you? I don't know how Brie can even live with that. She was so apparently broken when Remy was going through all that stuff with his hand, and she said, "Oh, I feel so guilty because it's all my fault that you can't play. This is why you're here. This is your purpose.
Yeah,
You can't do it, and it's all my fault because if you hadn't met me, your hand would be fine. Jacob wouldn't have hit you with a hammer, etc. I feel so bad." And she used that as an excuse for them not to get back together for a while, which didn't really sit right with me anyway. But she seems to have forgotten all of that guilt that she had. And now she's like, oh, yeah, I don't want you to be in the band, basically, is what she's saying to him, because I can't cope with it. Oh, you're not a very, I think you have to sit down and think, am I good for this person? Am I doing the right thing in this relationship by trying to curtail my person that I apparently love, curtail their enjoyment, curtail their job, their purpose, their reason for being, and how much he loves being in the band and doing this, for the fact that she's got issues that she doesn't want to deal with.
I know. And sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I think she is being beyond unfair by getting close to him again, when she probably at this stage, if she is so far gone and so broken, she's probably better off letting him go.
Yeah, she needs to work on herself. She needs to,
Yeah,
not just for their relationship, but for her. Just, she needs to get past this for her, because even if she can't make it with Remy, doesn't mean the next person that comes along, it's going to be any better with them, that she's going to trust them. Maybe they go to work one day and she freaks out thinking they're going to come home and do something awful to her. This is going to sound really bad, but this is a her problem. It's not a him problem.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for Your Say on the Bay. What do you guys, listening, viewers of Home and Away, what do you think about everything that's been going on in the Bay this
Do
week?
tell us, because we're like we've gone for it this week.
We've unpacked and had a bit of a therapy session, haven't we? Really. So well done for getting through that hour for a start, and welcome to your Say on the Bay. So, what I've been doing, as usual, for those of you that are here every week, thank you very much. I have been having a nosy at some of your comments and some of your reactions on social media, and I'm going to read them out to Si, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about what you guys think.
Come on.
Yeah. Before we crack on, though, we are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Find us, Coastal News Podcast, at Coastal News Pod on most of those places. Subscribe, follow, like, poke us, do whatever you like. Interact with us. We tweet along with the episodes on Twitter. We do the 6:30 p.m. 5-star pace. We tweet along with the episodes on the hashtag Home and Away. So come and join in the conversation, and you might get your tweet read out on your Say on the Bay. You never know.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, people have not been shy in coming forward with their opinions this week.
Oh no. Well, if what we've just discussed and got off our chest is anything to go by, I can only imagine.
Yes, it's been interesting. Bit of a random one to start with. So the topic that I'm going to start with is bedroom gymnastics and tonsil tennis.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not going to believe this, but people on Facebook have been complaining. I know this never happens, does it? People on Facebook have been complaining about the amount of touchy-feely, coupley, lovey-dovey sex scenes that we've been having lately on Homers. Specifically
Really?
this week, yeah, it's been going on for weeks, to be fair, because we've had a lot of scenes of
Showers.
Flick and Yatane, obviously very hot couple, at it like rabbits a lot of the time. And then we've got Brie and Remy, we've got Cash and Eden, we've got a few people, we've had the Rose and Marley as well, like the sort of two rides in a caravan or whatever it was. So we've had a few people generally saying there's a lot of sex on Homers, but it's been going on this week as well, because we've got Cash and Eden are still burning, aren't they? They're still, she's back from tour, they're all over each other. So Linda on Facebook says, I love Home and Away, but there's far too many bedroom scenes. And Lee says, all they do is take each other to bed. It's so boring and I'm so fed up of it. Ooh. And Caroline says, I've said this before, but there's too much tennis tonsils. She says tennis tonsils, but I think it's tonsil tennis, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is getting boring. So what do you think of that? Too much Cash and Eden, sex?
Well, I love a bit of sun, sex and scandal of a lunchtime. So I'm all for it. Now, it's funny you brought this up. It's like we've got a sixth sense. I took a picture earlier of my TV screen and was meant to send this to you, but I forgot. So I might as well read it out now because it really fits with what you're talking about. So do you have, on on the My5 app, do you have Home and Away on your list? You can like list. Right.
Yeah.
So have you ever noticed what it says as the caption when you go to the list to play it?
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
You just click it and go in. Right.
I just click. I usually look at the pictures. Yeah. I'm more of a pictures girl, I'll be honest, than words.
Yeah, because there's a different picture in the picture. So when you go on your list and just before you click in and where it loads up all the episodes, right, it says Home and Away, get your daily fix of Australia's sexiest soap with the residents of Summer Bay.
Does it?
Yep.
Oh, it doesn't say that with mine. I've got a totally different piece of text.
What? What does yours say?
Mine says Home and Away drama, blah, 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 5-star. And it says, join the residents of Summer Bay as they face the trials and tribulations of the not-so-sleepy beachside town.
Okay, yeah. Go back one step. So you're looking at your list.
Yeah, there's nothing on there. It just says Home and Away. I don't have any text on that screen. Huh? Is this an Android versus iPhone thing?
Well, it was on my TV.
Oh, I'll have
Let
to
me
check my
send
TV.
you.
I've got my phone in my hand, but I can check the TV later, see if it says the same.
I've sent you the picture, so you know I'm not lying.
I believe you. So it's saying there's the sexiest.
Yeah, get your daily fix of Australia's sexiest soap. So
they're not wrong, are they? I mean,
yeah. Linda, love, it's on the tin.
It does what it says. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving the bedroom gymnastics and tonsil tennis. I think it's good. I think the way that they're writing these characters, actually, it's not making me cringe. Because sometimes couples all over each other on soaps, it is a bit cringy, isn't it? But actually, I think Cash and Eve, I'm here for it. I think they're quite hot. I mean, yeah. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Are you into it?
Yeah, selfish reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't agree there.
Sometimes it can be a bit top heavy. Sometimes the
Top
plot,
heavy. Sorry.
I didn't even notice I said that.
I apologise.
With the stop block storytelling, sometimes you can have a lot of it in one episode. Maybe it was one of them days.
Yeah, there was an episode recently where, like, I think it was the Tane and Kahu episode where they were, training on the beach with the tops off, and then there was something else happening, and I was like, it's a really hot day. I'm feeling quite hot generally. This episode is really hot. Yeah, that was quite a breathtaking. Yeah, very thirsty. Yeah, very. Anyway, we should probably move on, I think. Let's move on. So the next topic of conversation is breezy ? Because is she breezy? No. And the comments will back me up on this. So Angelique,
sure.
Absolutely. Angelique says, so Remy can't go on tour because of Bree's problems? ? And Kathleen replied to Angelique, and she said, yeah, Bree is playing Remy like a fiddle. She blows hot and cold constantly until the poor guy doesn't know what to do for the best. He needs to stop walking on eggshells around her and leave her to it. Plus, she's so boring anyway.
I'm clapping. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better than we could, really. Kathleen, thank you.
Get out.
And then Angelique went back to Kathleen because these two had a bit of a chat. It was quite interesting. I feel like very nosy, but I was like, "Oh, this is good." Angelique went back to Kathleen and said, "He just runs after her like a lapdog, and she's always moaning and sulking and running off and crying about something." And Kathleen said, "I know, and that's why she's got no respect for him. I love Remy, and he's a lovely man, but I hate the way that she treats him."
You can't say anything other than that, can you? It's true.
Not really.
It's completely true. It does. He is bordering pathetic. When it's a bit like, come on, mate. You're in a band, good-looking lad. Like you could just move on. Do you know? Like nothing's. There's no mortgage. There's no kids. No puppy.
I don't think he will. I think it needs to come from her. Like we said, sometimes you just have to take stock and go, okay, I do want to be in this relationship with you. I am in love with you, but I am bad for you. And I need to work on myself, and I don't want to do this, but you've got to put the other person first sometimes. And she's clinging on to him because she's broken and she needs him, but actually she's not any good for him. I don't think. I know that sounds awful.
No, she's not.
No. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that thinks it. So Rosemary says, Bree is getting right on my nerves. Remy is better off without her. And Nick says he agrees. He says, I agree. I tried giving her character the benefit of the doubt, because if what her character has been through, everything that she's been through, but it's getting on my nerves. And Helen said, yeah, I agree. Remy doesn't deserve to constantly be compared to the monster Jacob. And it's such an insult.
Yeah,
which is what
it's
you
a land.
said.
Yeah. What more does he have to do to prove he isn't this bloke, this horrible man? And I mean, if that's all she's known, and she was with Jacob for ages, wasn't she? I suppose she's going to have that. But like you say, this Aiken's back to, she needs to work on herself and not drag Remy through the ringer while she does it. Unanimous that it's a landslide, isn't it? Landslide. She's really losing popularity.
She is. It's a shame, because I think people did generally like her when she was first introduced. I felt, I think a lot of people engaged with the Jacob storyline. They felt really bad for her during that whole storyline, but it's that she's gone off a cliff now. And Kelly says, am I the only one? But I find Bree so blah. And people are agreeing with that one. So he's got a load of likes on Facebook for that comment, and people saying, yeah, it's really boring now. She's blowing hot and cold. She's doing my head in. I want to shake her. Elaine says she's like Jekyll and Hyde. She's got a split personality. I can't take to her. I can't feel for her. I just feel for Remy. So it's like a character assassination, really. I don't think they've handled this storyline very well since up until the point when he kidnapped her and that whole thing. I was on board. That was horrendous, and I think I was swept away with the storyline. But after that, her just coming back to the Bay, a murderer, but got away with it, didn't go to court. It all got sort of swept under the carpet. She's back at work. She's in a relationship with this guy. No, I don't think that would happen in real life. I think they've tried to rush it, and now we've got this problem.
Yeah. Good summary. I don't think can she be redeemed? Jury's out, but it's not looking likely, is it?
Not based on these comments. I think it would take a lot to win people back over again. I don't know. Empathy is gone, I think, for her character.
Yeah.
Well, that was breezy. What do we think about Andrew?
Right. Okay, this will be interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the comments were interested about Andrew, actually. So I'm going to read you some of the ones that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting people to necessarily bring this sort of stuff up. But a couple of people have said, I've brought Ava back into the equation, and they've said Justin sent Ava away because he didn't want her around to see him, get sentenced, possibly go to prison, or any of the fallout of what's happened, in his anger issues. And yet he's quite happy to bring Andrew into the home and subject this really vulnerable kid to everything that he's going through. When he binned his daughter off, essentially. I hadn't really thought about that, but that's really... Julie and Pauline, famous Pauline, have both brought this up. Pauline says, Justin can take in a troubled boy with such ease, and yet found his daughter so hard to please. In the way of the world, here we go. In the way of the world, isn't it that we care for everyone more than we care for our own? It seems simply because we think we did a good job when really we didn't. I love Pauline's comments. They're so mysterious. But yeah, it's true though, isn't it? I mean, he sent Ava away packing because she's obviously going through some stuff, and he was like, I'm just going to exacerbate all of her problems. She doesn't need to see this. She doesn't need to see me with my anger issues. I need to work on myself. Yeah. But I'll let this, this troubled, neglected kid into the house and look after him. That's fine.
Why did that not even dawn on me?
It didn't dawn on me either, to be honest.
I think I've just like, Ava's gone, she's out of my mind, move on.
Yeah, I've deleted it.
But that's a very good point. Very, very good point. What, like, we just swapped one for another. I mean, we're too early doors, aren't we, with Andrew's story to really know why he's been introduced.
Yeah.
I suppose he couldn't have been introduced if Ava was still about, because it'd be like, mind you, this social services doesn't seem to care where he goes. But a girl and a boy, in together, it might not happen. But really good point. Yeah, one worth considering that, and I'm shocked that we didn't manage it.
No, I know. It really made me think. I didn't even bring it up on the podcast because I was like, I'll wait until the end because it's not my thought. It's like I say, it's Julie and Pauline and a bunch of other people that have come up with this.
Yeah, really, really well spotted there, guys.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people questioning the realistic nature of this storyline. We touched on it on the main episode, and you just did just now. Where's the police? Where's the social services? Why is he allowed to just go home with Justin, who's just recently been to court, just recently got a criminal record for beating somebody up? Is he really the role model for looking after, troubled minors in the Bay? I'm not sure. And obviously the police will know about Ava, his daughter, and how that relationship was, because that whole court case was about her. So Jenny said, I know it's a really kind thing that Justin's done, but realistically, would you take someone into your home that you know nothing about? he could be dangerous. He could be a threat. So, yeah, a lot of people saying, is this realistic? Would this have really happened?
It's one of those things that you go on a gut, don't you, with those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a gut that this person really needed help, I bet most would take him in. You know, I think to say, oh, would you really take someone in? You might do if they were a really vulnerable person and they really tugged on your heartstrings.
Yes.
And you sort of had a bit of a bond with them, and you know, you really, and you're the kind of person that really wants to help.
Yes.
I think you could quite easily be in a situation where you're letting someone lodge in with you. I think you could.
Yes. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's just, would they have allowed it, I guess. You know,
yeah, that's the difference.
Wanting to.
Yeah, that's the difference. It's the authorities allowing it is the bit that we've got to overlook, and it's a big thing we've got to try and get past, guys. Like, you know, it is absolutely ridiculous. And throw in his recent criminal record addition, because he has got other criminal record. He's got other marks on his record.
Yeah.
Throw that into the mix, and it gets a little difficult to look through and look past. You've really got to sort of suppress that thought and just sort of go with it, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, lots of people saying that. Lots of people calling him creepy as well. I know we touched on this on the main episode, but a lot of people saying he's creepy. He's staring at them when they're asleep. You know, this is not normal behavior. Maybe he's dangerous. And then there's lots of other people countering that by saying, but he's a boy. He's just a young boy. He's 9 years old, you know, mentally. He's clearly been abused or neglected. You know, it's not a normal situation. It's not a normal 17-year-old standing in the dark staring at them. There's more to it. There's more context to it than that, which is what I said on the main episode as well, because that's my opinion, is that if we're meant to believe that he's mentally 9 years old, when I picture him as a 9-year-old boy standing at the foot of the bed, I just think of him as a little lost little boy that doesn't understand these rules that have changed overnight. You know, he's been brought up one way, and now all of a sudden he's allowed to do whatever he wants, and that's so confusing. And maybe he wasn't allowed out at night. Maybe he wasn't allowed to free roam the house. Maybe he was locked away. Wasn't allowed to go near the fridge. You know, no running water. We can't even imagine this, can we? Living inside a house, not having any, apart from lockdown. You know, we all got a taste of it, but being brought up in isolation, away from the world, which is what it sounds like he's been through. We just can't comprehend that. So
no, of course not. Yeah,
bizarre. So lots of things about Andrew. But my question of the week on Twitter was, what about Kahu and Mac? So I put a tweet out recently and I said, you know, I'm in two minds about this, because Mac's had a really crappy year. She could do with the distraction, could do with a bit of fun, as I said on the main podcast. But on the other hand, Kahu, was he the best choice for this distraction? You know, he's a bit of a snake. And so I asked people what they thought. What do you think about Kahu and Mac hooking up? So Mr. David on Twitter and Sandy, they both sort of replied with one word, really: run, Mac, run, run to the hills.
Bad news.
Bad news, absolutely. And then Michelle, no, I think it's Mish actually. Mish said it's too soon after Gabe, so that you know, it's too soon, Mac. You know, not ready to jump into bed with somebody. Nina said
same old, too soon. Every time.
Too soon.
Sorry, go on.
Another temporary man, isn't it? Really, that's the problem. Nina said she should have just left it as one night, because she looks upset when Kahu didn't want to meet up again.
I said this, didn't I?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a bit cross with her that she was the one that wanted it again, because I'm a bit like, I expected him to pursue her.
Yeah.
Because he, you know, as far as I'm concerned, he's after, he's seeing money, you know, and that's what he's after. I don't think he's interested in the slightest. I think he is a massive con man, and I'm a bit cross that she's allowed herself to be the one that's asking for it. And like you mentioned control. If she was in control of it, it'd be completely different, because she'd be using him as her sort of distraction. And if that's the way she wants to deal with it, she's a grown woman, let her deal with it that way. But I'm really annoyed that she is pandering to a fella again. Oh,
I know. And
I concur.
Some people are agreeing, and actually Sarah, hi Sarah, regular tweeter, 30th floor. Oh, hello. Sarah says, I don't think Mac does a bit of fun. I think she gets attached. And I think she's hit the nail on the head there. That this is, for Mac, she starts off with these temporary relationships and thinks she's going to have a bit of fun, but actually she ends up getting absolutely clobbered by these, doesn't she? Which is what you're just saying. She gets attached, and then they're not as attached, and she ends up heartbroken.
Yeah, time and time and time again. You're right. She does attach. I don't think she can do cash, can she? She everything's a front with Mac, and I suppose that's why we like. She's such a good character. Because she's layered in that way. She has this hard shell, and she's like, face on, happy smile, front of house, in the restaurant. I'm in control of my life. I don't need no man, blah, blah, blah. Underneath, she's this insecure girl who does just fall at the first pulse that comes along and shows her some attention, and she keeps falling for it over and over and over again. That's her main character flaw. And all through her life, whether it be relationship or whether it be dad, a man has always put her down.
Yeah, you're right. And there's been a word that's been used on social media to describe her, which I don't like this word, but I can totally see where they're coming from. And everyone's saying, why do they keep making Mac the bike of the bay? I don't like that, but you can see the argument for it, can't you? That she is just this girl that's available for any waif and stray to come to the bay and sleep with, and she just puts herself out there, and I think she gives herself away too easily. As I was saying earlier, I'm all for Mac having fun, letting her hair down and being in control and putting the boundaries out with a new guy and just using him for getting out of her headspace for a bit. But she's given herself away to people that don't deserve her. And absolutely. That's what I find difficult, because I'm like, you could do so much better even if it's a one night stand, you could do so much better than Kahu, that's a snake money grabbing sleaze, essentially. And this is kind of what people are saying. So Peter tweeted us and said, don't do it, Mac, he's a player. People have got bad vibes off this guy. He's not. It's such a shame, because I think a lot of people were kind of interested in him when he first came to the bay. A cousin of Tane, another Parata. The Parata family are very well liked, aren't they, generally speaking, on social media, from what we can see. But this one, like I said earlier, bad egg.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.